Nothing too outside of the ordinary that we see, and this is where things can potentially change. I stand corrected, however, of course, as Elsu finds himself as the first or the second ban away on the blue side for Kareem, and now INTZ has an opportunity, a quick opportunity to take away the Sephira, which though would provide Varus as an option for Kareem.
So normally you leave those guaranteed bans, the characters you absolutely don't want to see through, to the red side, because the blue side gets first pick. However, this may just all be a vast calculation to be able to first pick Varus, in which case, I guess it's worked out.
Yeah, I mean, Varus...
But they're thinking too long, that's not what it was.
And that seems to be the hover instead, as opposed to making sure that they don't give up two of those strong members. So yes, they're going to end up giving up the Varus onto INTZ if they decide to pick that up, but that does mean a net does go into the hands of the support for Kareem.
Yeah, I think Tulin would have been better, because once Sephira's off, Tulin and Liliana are the next kind of really powerful mages, and Tulin gives so much, and speaking of Liliana, she's going to show up here, but if they get Tulin a net, that's going to be really a good look for Kareem here. And I do like so far how both drafts are playing out for both sides. But Elsu banning on the blue side means Kareem doesn't play Elsu. Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely perhaps showing a weakness. We don't quite know the full capacities of this new roster, but them banning the Elsu definitely signifies they feel uncomfortable leaving it up to chance.
Aram side lane? Aram side lane with the net potentially here?
Yeah, we've seen some Aram side lanes. Normally that's frowned upon because Aram doesn't win a lot of lanes due to her low mobility and low damage. But you can run it where you'd run a Ybeneth, for example.
Oh, okay. So a lot of protection here. This is a lot of protection for the Tell Honest late carry here. So I can see what Kareem is drafting towards. Now I'm wondering if INTZ is going to go ahead and pick a ADC composition instead of an assassin, because assassin composition is really risky into an ARM because she counters a lot of great assassins like Quillen, for example.
35 seconds left remaining on INTZ here in the first phase. They have plenty of options to go through. They've got a side laner. They've got themselves a mid laner. They now decide to lock themselves down. It looks to be a jungle, as Lindis is one of the most powerful jungle, the only marksman jungle left alive in the current meta, and it seems to be the option here for INTZ.
INTZ getting the Linds.
I see what you're doing. At least you're pronouncing it correctly.
Like, kind of worked. Definitely is a major point in their favor, because I do feel that Lindis is possibly the most powerful jungler in the meta. There's just nothing that quite counters her capacity to scale.
She's ranged, she's fast, she can rotate. I mean, her jungle clear, that's the key with junglers. Her jungle clear is what makes her really shine, especially when she's level 4. I mean, she has so many items in her kit that helps her clear the jungle so fast and move right through jungle.
Of course, just the speed at which you can kill monsters. The primary advantage there is she can use her ultimate multiple times as an ability to kill monsters. It's on such a short cooldown. And her traps, her little entrapments, are very useful for bursting down the monsters in the jungle. She can use all 3 of her abilities just willy-nilly to kill monsters. That allows her to clear and kill them so fast that she builds a gold lead over almost any other marksman.
Yeah, this is... Oh.
We were going to say the same thing. Tulin taken away to make sure they could deny that Tulin and net synergy.
If Kareem got Tulin and net, I would say they have a really solid chance of finally getting their first win. But INTZ is on top of that. They're going to ban away that Tulin right away. Like I said, Sephora, Tulin, Liliana. As soon as you see Sephora being banned, you can potentially ban away Liliana, take Tulin, for example, and that puts you in a really good spot.
The Alice will join on the ban list. That's maybe a little bit curious, but especially if you're worried about that Lindis. The Lindis does magic damage alongside the Liliana, and I believe alongside the Varus, which means that the Hissy Fit, which amplifies magic damage, could be a massive problem.
They do a second mid lane ban in the Kali to take away any of the strength in Akali, which has started to have a nice little rise to fame in the Latin American region. So 2 mid lockdowns for INTZ, as now Kareem is 20 seconds left remaining on their final ban.
Such a smart ban. I mean, Kali was great too, because you have Kali Tell on this, and you have such a strong front line that can basically prevent you from getting onto Kali or Tell on it. You win the range game. And the fact that INTZ kind of figured that out and banned away Kali, which is really smart. And banning Tulin means you deny the powerful Annette Tulin mid lane duo there.
They've really targeted Mixer J of INTZ Esports. They definitely are feeling the effects of him being one of the best supports in LATAM. But I also feel that may have been a mistake because he just has such a deep character pool.
Yeah, I like what they're doing here. Cream is banning away the supports, and then INTZ is focusing on all of the mages for the second phase of the draft here. So it's interesting strategy they're playing on each other. So what is INTZ going to pick up support-wise here? Are they going to save the last kicks? Realma is still open.
I think they save their support for the final pick. I think they have. I think they decide to go for their other side laner here.
They're having a long discussion about this. I guarantee you Mixer J wants to run something weird.
Zephy's, okay.
Okay. That's probably going to be sideline Zephyrs, Lindis, and jungle, but honestly, it could flip either way. Sideline Zephyrs, the reason I say that is because it's slightly more popular in LATAM to run sideline Zephyrs than other regions. The obvious downside, you don't have the big burst damage or the HP Leviathan or Soul Reaver, the two jungle items would give you, but you farm the Zephyrs a little bit quicker, so you're giving up a little bit of late game potential for a little bit of quicker scale during the early.
Crixie is a really interesting pickup. I feel like out of that, you can probably go with Flash because it can get on the backline against the Lindis there.
You'd like more mobility from Crane.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Crixie is such an easy target for Lindis, Lilian, and Zephyrs and Varus to just literally jump on top of her and power top her.
They've already built a fortress. Their theory is that if the Telenos succeeds, if the Crixie succeeds, they win the game. It's all about protecting those back lines. The final draft here from INTZ, they're looking for a support of some kind. And I say of some kind with that inflection because Mixer J has demonstrated he can literally run anything in support.
Yeah, the normal constraints of a support role and what that means.
Oh, it's so normal.
However, Mixer J does seem to be hovering over the Teamy, which is one of the more ordinary picks, if not the most ordinary pick that he could have gone for in his repertoire. Teamy has been locked in. Gentlemen, two very different styles for these two teams. Do we have a preference on composition?
I think I side with INTZ because this is a very fortress-focused composition from Cream Esports, and I don't know that they have enough of a front line to make it work. The theory is that Aram and Net will keep their squishy backline safe, and I don't know that Aram and Net is enough into this much dive mobility opposing them and the Lindis.
Yeah, I agree with that, I think. And I feel like the side lane is going to be interesting because Arm is slow and doesn't clear wave as fast, and Varus might be able to basically out-rotate and put a lot of pressure across the map while Arm is trying to focus on the wave clear there. So it's going to be an interesting side lane matchup there as well.
Plenty of options here as Cream is eliminated from playoff contention. However, they are still looking for their first win ever in the Valor series here in Season 3. They're sitting at 0-12. A win here could be a great sense of motivation for them, as well as a potential dream killer for the position, for the pole positioning preferences of INTZ.
However, I don't want to do this. I'm going to be mean. Have we ever had a team not going to win in the Valor series before?
We haven't.
Synergy, the lowest in LATAM last season, got 1 win.
They did.
And even that was
and that was against Geo.
That was against
Geo. It was against Geo. We had 2 weeks ago, we had Existence, who hadn't won a single game yet in the Valor Series. They took down the #1 seed in Nova Esports in a 1-1 tie. So if history proves us anything, it's that 0 in the win column does not define your entire season because all it takes is 1 game.
So things can get interesting, guys. Who knows? Cream, honestly, their draft's not that bad. Or they can still execute this draft.
I mean, to be fair as well, we have already finished the European region for today, and everything essentially went as normal, which means that so far, you being on the desk has been far less disruptive than Envision than Envision last week. So that's already a bonus because we're not freaking out.
Yes. And the fact that everything's kind of returned to normalcy makes me happy. Because Envision, he came in here and we had wild things.
Well, it's time to get ourselves into the match. We've got Cream Esports going up against INTZ, and the fights have already begun.
Already a deep dive in. Welcome back to LATAM, Zooey. INTZ was pressure, and they've absolutely destroyed the early Cream line.
Yeah, it is like in their blood to just fight, fight, and fight. They love to fight, and that's what I love about Latin America. So much action, so much fun, and a lot of heroes. Like, who's seen Arm side lane or Crixie mid lane? That's not something you see very often, so it makes it for a very exciting gameplay to watch and commentate.
Mixer J will open up the front lines, pressing in for INTZ. They're leading the way with that teamie so that the extra gold from his passive can benefit the whole team that's invading.
Oh.
But Padaria, he misses the passive, but he does cut off SPVV. They've got Furio through as well. Padaria stepped too far forward. First blood goes to Cream Esports.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. Padaria needs to be very careful. You know, in some games, he's the one that has the most death, and that is a perfect example of him playing overly eager and overly aggressive there on this Varus play. And if he landed that passive, he may have gotten a kill to go down with him.
Yeah, that was weird because his passive, the Bloody Kiss, that little circle chain that flies around him, gives him lifesteal. If he'd lined that up correctly, he probably lives.
Exactly, and Neo on Crixie there, using his abilities on the minion, kind of questionable there, and also missing some of the mischief as well. That's something that I'm going to watch closely here, because Crixie, every ability needs to land for her to really dish out that burst damage that she gives.
Top lane focus from INTZ. They go in underneath the tower up there. Will grab Arkle. The rest of INTZ are down bottom contesting near an Abyssal Dragon, which should be picked up by Cream Esports.
Yeah, this is what Cream absolutely needs to do here. They need to trade the Dragon because they're going to lose the top tower from that rotation from INTZ here on the top lane. Neo's holding down the mid lane so far.
INTZ will focus down the tower up top, and they should be able to pick it up quite easily. There's not really an opportunity for the response to come out from Cream. They'll get Arkle here in time, but the slower movement speed of the Aura undoes them.
Yeah, that's the thing about ARM there. Very slow movement speed, very easy to focus down and just get stuck.
Boom. You can't win that. They wait for the snare to end, then grab the kill.
Yeah, that's the thing. ARM needs to play with her team because by herself, she's great against melee, but not against...
Medinio, the trap, the murder bush, they've got him!
What a nice position and a nice, basically, gank from the bushes there from Cream. 4 people focusing on the mid lane, but can they convert this into objective and stay in the game? Because they're not that far behind.
That was so good, using the Crixie for that CC to enable the full Eagle Eye from Furio. Beautifully done, leveraging their comp.
Yeah, I love that sneak attack there. And like I said, Neo landing his abilities as Crixie is going to be absolutely important. And also using his ultimate as well to do a maximum amount of damage. So Crixie is going to be a key player here in a lot of these engages.
Furio did the vast majority of the damage down bottom. He is playing into, and this is interesting, they put the Lindis up in top lane and this Varus down in bot.
Yeah, Lindis in top lane against the ARM is very smart because range just completely puts so much pressure against the ARM there and allows Lindis to farm because she can now go into the jungle, take the Seagulls, and that was a misplay over there. A second death so far, only 4 minutes.
Furio will go down, Medinio to grab that one. Benja pokes in, can't find the kill. Nice Moonfall comes out, but White and Mixer J are completely capable of tanking it. Cream Esports unable to find revenge. And now White goes in with the front line. Death Row but misses, but Benja, he recommits and almost gets swatted down for it, but he will survive.
Yeah, that was a huge miss by White there. If he landed that, he would have easily taken and got the kill onto Benja, but Benja could have counter-engaged, honestly, because when Zephyrs misses his ultimate, that is the perfect time to then counter-engage against him, and I feel like Benja could have done that to really take care of White.
A very weirdly sloppy engage from both teams down bottom.
Yeah, very, very sloppy indeed, TJ.
I'd like to draw the attention towards this Mantle of Ra being built over on Padaria. I was actually reading something on Daniel, D2's website, and he mentioned that the Mantle of Ra range is shorter than the ideal positioning for the Varus, which means that it's a really not an ideal item to be built.
Yeah, and you have to be at melee range. And look at this, the rotation, the collapses. Cream gives up 2 kills. TJ, 2 of them being a little out of position, being overly aggressive onto the side of the mid-map here.
Yeah, the crazy dive from White's absolutely paying off for that. Very aggressive play on the Zephyrs, the character you liked so much during the draft.
Yeah, Zephyrs is so good with his death row weapon.
Snare, Benja, can't land the punish. Nicely done. Padaria thrives in the middle. Bloodicus, the line's still under 3 with Venom through. He survives and Cream are chased back. Furio tries to take the front line, diving in through the whole flank, but he can't get much more than poke.
That was insane there. Escaping barely with a silver hand. You can see why Vera's win condition Bloodicus is so critical to her kit. But meanwhile, while they're all having that fight, guess who takes the dragon? White himself, and that gives 1 dragon to INTZ here.
White will grab that Seagull as well. Drifting all of INTZ down bottom to leverage their gold lead against these lanes. They're in control of this game now.
Yeah, but going back to the Monterall discussion, it's like basically melee range. You have to literally stand next to your opponent for it to apply all that damage. So maybe he's using Monterall to get a faster wave clear. So he can rotate past him for more pressure and give him the extra defense. But the thing about Monterall, it gives defense, but no HP. And that's the weakness of Monterall.
So the specific problem is the Varus wants the opponent to stay a little bit longer than melee range, right? Because you have all those abilities of Serpent's Embrace. You're pushing people away. It's weird. As PvP also getting weird. Tries to Hurricane Wall out, and Fusion will grab him. Now Medinho presses forward underneath the tower. Neo will spend his Moonfall just for the wave clear, but he gets it.
And this is going to be now really tough for Cream here. You can see the goal difference, 3K.
Oh, Furio, he's gone. That's devastating. Another pickup to INTZ.
Yeah, that's why I love the Zephy's pick there. I mean, he's so good against ADC. He's literally the ADC counter as long as he doesn't fall too behind the ADC. But you need the arm there. You need the net there to protect against a Zephyr. It's exactly what they want to do. They have really high engage. Teamy, Varus, Zephy's. Even Liliana can dive into the backline and the ADCs there, so they have to, the Arco needs to be there to protect Furio.
While we're talking builds, if we have a moment, can we briefly touch on this Lindis build?
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the Blitzblade, so it gives her a lot more lane clear because she's in lane and she's not jungling. And I feel like the War Boots, the attack speed, that's what they're going for. It's just hyper farming her, getting her as much of the wave clear as possible so she can extra pressure and rotate with the team. And it sounds like right now, you can see INTZ rotations. They're very, very close and together.
Oh, SPVE absolutely melted. Well, that's Fusion showing up. The rank breaker, the final item now. Give him a little bit more burst damage onto the lighter weight characters, but Fusion will be caught out. Benja at the close range is able to assassinate Fusion. Medinho in response does get the trade.
Yeah, because you think about it, the Spirit Launch is built on the Zephyrs there, so he's able to reduce the target armor. Then you have Lindis with Rank Breaker, which gives her that extra pierce through that armor, and then on top of that Blitzblade, the attack speed, that lifesteal, War Boots as well, give her more attack speed. So it synergizes really well with what the Zephyrs wants to do.
Very different from the typical jungle Lindis build, so worth pointing out. Padaria's been having a bit of a rough game though. Fiora now continues to add to it. That's a lot of damage, keeping Padaria at long range, arm's length. As PvP comes through with the Ring of the Fiend, but his allies not interested in contesting. Arcol in the meantime wants to get in on this Dark Slayer, but he can't.
Again, I feel like Furio and SPV, they could have killed Padaria there actually, but they didn't use the Ring of the Fiend properly. And look at it, Dark Slayer comes over to INTZ here just for free.
No, you're absolutely right. The Ring of the Fiend, of course, that big orange circle giving a speed boost.
Exactly.
Had they spent that rightly, Furio could have caught up.
And Padaria made a mistake because he was low, getting hit, and he was actually moving towards Furio instead of just running away completely. And look at that Fusion. The amount of damage and burst onto the Cricknack just disappears like that.
Bye. Now, with the Dark Slayer buff, they'll look to take these towers. It's with Fusion and the rest of the team are there. Mixer J zoning in the front lines. Will stall things up.
Oh, man, look at that. Omni Arms on Fusion. This Lindis is going to pack a punch. Almost 7K Goldie, the most fed in the game right now. That's exactly what you want to do with this build here. It's farm, 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 clear, 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 push towers down.
This is burst damage as opposed to sustained damage, Lindis.
Yeah, definitely with the Omni Arms here.
Mixer J will have the resurrect up, but there's the dive. White's in, he's got one, he'll be turned. Benja with the response. Arcol needs to stay alive, but they do. A kill lead over to Cream.
Yeah, that was so close there. The Moonfall from Neo was so good and great timing there, able to turn that fight around. It almost got even the kill on
Benja.
to Lindis as well.
Benja is too far forward though. Medinho wants to chase. He plays through the bush. That gets him the invulnerability. He stays untargetable. In the meantime though, bot lane's been lost despite Benja's great play. Fusion absolutely melts Furio for a double kill onto him and Neo in the bot lane. Benja can only secure mutually assured destruction as Arcol's trying to save the bot tower. He can't do it in time.
Yeah, this is why I love LATAM. And look at this, the aggressive nature of Fusion and Padaria here, but Benja doing such a good job. 1 versus 2 there, getting 2 kills and then trading with Liliana there or Medinho there on the top lane, which is good for him to get the kills because they're so behind. They need as much gold and kills as possible.
Enraged, this dragon will be up for grabs first for INTZ. They're going to try and secure that just to make sure they can win their team fight, but they've already got the high ground down. This is their game to lose.
1 Dark Slayer, 3 dragons to their side, 7 towers, and now a nice 10,000 gold lead. The pressure could not be stronger for INTZ.
Oh my god!
Ouch.
Goodbye, Furio!
This is why Taonis cannot be alone, TJ. Every time that she's alone and White is nearby, it's done for her. The way to counter a Zephyrs when you're an ADC is your supports need to give vision on the Zephyrs. If you do not know where Zephyrs is, you need to be careful as ADC. You need to position back as far as possible.
Benja steps into Fusion's range and almost goes down instantly. My god, that Lindis.
Yeah, you can see how fast she procs that Blitz Blades as well. It's amazing to see that attack speed.
If that's a crit, he dies.
Definitely, look at this pressure here. 5 men on this top
White,
tower.
step from up, goes wide, he's in trouble. There's the Resurrect throw, Mixer J keeps him safe. Harkle chased up Fusion in the meantime. They've got the fight. Kramer stalling out, nicely done. They've got the wave clear. Padaria tries to go in, does have the lifesteal. Fusion's burned down though. White recommits, gets a 1-1 trade. That's not enough. Benja with the chase will go down. The Venom from Padaria punishing his over-aggression. Neo needs to get this wave clear.
That was so much crazy action, but White goes in, the teammate ultimate goes, everyone gets revived. You see the Dark Blessing come out as well, but Neo is going to try to hold down the fort here because he's the one doing a lot of damage from behind.
He needs these kills though, and he's misplayed it, overextending, and it's 8 seconds on the next respawn, and it's do take the game. Map number 1 to them.
Man, Latin America is so fun to watch. That last part, I can't wait to watch the replay. So much action happened back and forth. White overcommits, and Neo then turns on Moonfall. Does so much damage. They catch out Mix RJ. It goes back and forth, but in the end, INTZ comes out the victory with their cleaner play.